Hey everybody, this is Steve Riley from LA Guns, and you're watching CMS TV. Peace.
It is Chris Akin right here on Chris Akin Presents. Glad to be back, and I'm always glad to be back when I've got a legend on the phone. We're going to be talking about their brand new release, More Inspirations. The band, of course, is Saxon, and here to talk all about it is the man himself, Mr. Biff Byford. Biff, how are you, sir?
Good, yeah, good. I'm just getting over COVID. I got it pretty bad actually last week, but feeling a bit better today.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I had it a year and a half ago myself. It is not fun, is it?
No, it's the second time I've had it, so yeah, pretty bad. I mean, when you get it on tour, it's quite bad.
Sure.
You know, because you can't really relax very much because you're in a very closed environment on the tour bus and dressing rooms and things. So yeah, we sort of postponed 3 or 4 shows,
right,
in Germany.
Right. Yeah. Well, you'll get them back. I mean, because you're Saxon. That's what you guys do. You overcome.
And never surrender.
Exactly right, man. Well, Biff, what we're here to talk about today is your new release, More Inspirations. It's kind of the sequel to the original Inspirations record, and I'm gonna take a guess here on this one and tell me if I'm right or wrong, but I find this one, More Inspirations, to be more of the less common songs than the first incarnation. First incarnation was a lot more commoner songs that a lot of people have covered over the years because they are inspirational and they have moved you guys as musicians. Where I think a lot of these songs are not necessarily the hits from these bands and are a little more obscure, which is a great listen. Is that fairly accurate?
Yeah, I think that the first Inspirations was quite, who inspired us, who influenced us in particular.
Okay.
And I suppose those bands that are on the first one are the more common bands, obviously.
Sure.
And they're obviously the most popular, so the influences probably stronger than the other ones did. But when you think about it, and you do a second one, I mean, we could do 5 or 6 of these things because there's so many bands from that period that inspired us and influenced us. It's sort of endless. So, I think that the second one, I delved more deeper into our sort of psyche a little bit more. I made a list of tracks that, I thought the band would like really. So I sent it off to the band and they got back to me and, said, yeah, this is great. Nigel said, I'd like a Kiss song because, I was really into Kiss back in the day and probably still is, I don't know. But
sure.
So I put in Detroit Rock City, it's my favorite Kiss song. I mean, I was never in the Kiss army. I was never really a massive fan of Kiss. I mean, I do like the band and I sort of respect what they've done, but Nigel was a big Kiss fan. So
sure.
Things like that, really. Every song has something connected to it, really.
Right on. Now, was this all recorded at one time, or was this two separate sessions that you decided to do the second one because you felt so good about the first one? Or
Yeah, we did the first one in lockdown. Quite early in lockdown.
Okay.
We were able to put ourselves in a bubble in a house. 6 of us there, the band and the engineer. And we did that one. But the second album we did a little bit later, without the restrictions, so we were able to do it in my studio at home. So pretty much the same though. Same engineers, same equipment, same guitar, same guys. So
sure,
really same microphones. So just the location was different. I don't think that really. I don't think that really. Apart from maybe the drum sound, I don't think that really affects the sound of the band, really.
Sure. No, I just didn't know if you had, when you first had the idea to do Inspirations, if you just did 30 songs and just were like, well, this is too much to release, but obviously.
No, we didn't. No, we just did. No, we did 10 songs for the first one, and then we did, a few more for this one, really. I mean, we did have a few songs that were, we tried and we weren't really, because you have to try these songs live first, I think, in a rehearsal room to see if you can, transpose them into our style. Some of them are easy and some of them aren't. So I think that the name of the game is you just try the songs, and if they sound great, then we do it. Yeah,
sure.
But there's no songs there that people didn't know.
Mm-hmm. Certainly. Now, for you, I mean, the obvious title is Inspirations and then More Inspirations. What is it that you take away from a song or these songs that is the inspiration? Is it a certain style of singing? Is it the musicianship that kind of put the whole focus of what Saxon was to become into your head? I mean, what inspiration specifically do you pull from?
Well, a lot of it is down to influences as well. It's just not as good a word as inspirations.
Okay.
So I think each song, like I said, the Alice Cooper song, for instance, when we had an American car in the 70s, and in the glove compartment when we bought it, there was 3 8-track cassettes. One of them was ZZ Top Fandango. One was Lou Reed, the live album.
Okay.
And the other one was From the Inside, Alice Cooper. So we listened to those 3 albums because they're the only 8-track we had in the car. So we listened to them over and over again. Brilliant albums, by the way. I mean, you couldn't really get much better albums than that to listen to it late at night driving back from a gig. So, and in one of the songs that Alice, sings, slowly fading away like denim and leather. And it's the first time I heard those 2 songs, two words put together. And, 5 or 6 years later, or 6, 7 years later, I used it in one of our songs, Denim and Leather, which is probably, people, like American people probably hear that song and don't even know it's a Saxon song, but, it just comes back again. So, an influence, really, quite important album for me,
Sure.
Obviously.
Were any of the songs that were chosen on either of the Inspirations songs that really challenged you vocally, that you really had to really work to hit the notes the way you wanted to, just because you don't normally sing that way?
I think they're all challenging, actually. Like the first one and the second one, they're all challenging. Eric Burden, singing "We're Gonna Get Out of This Place." That's quite high register.
Sure.
There's 2 octaves going on there. So they are quite challenging. I'm just looking at my voice as that has a good range. I'm able to sing, quiet. I'm able to sing full on loud. I'm able to sing those higher octaves. So really lucky, really, that I'm able to do that. But it's great fun, to push your voice and see if you can. It's all about the performance, like it probably was when they first sort of recorded them.
Right. Certainly. I'm always curious with singers like yourself, Biff, your voice, and you're one of the very, very few. I mean, you know this as well as anybody. the bands that came up when you did, or even 10 years after you did, their voices generally are not there anymore. They're not the same. Your voice, it's really kind of unique. You can listen to Carpe Diem and then you can listen to Crusader. Your voice is almost dead on the same. What is it that you've been able to do to keep your voice so tuned? Is it just because you guys are always performing? It's like a well-worked muscle that never stops?
But it is a well-worked muscle, obviously. As everybody who's a singer, it's a well-worked muscle. But
Sure.
I don't know really. I mean, it all comes from here. There's this area here and from the diaphragm. You can sing in your head voice, which is like more like the Bon Scott style.
Sure.
So I think over the years you learn to do that, so you can move your voice around from different parts of where the air comes from, where the voice actually resonates in your body. So yeah, I mean, it's just a technique that you learn, I suppose. And I was lucky enough to learn that technique, fairly early on. I suppose I stopped smoking and cavorting around and things. So I suppose that helps a bit as well.
Sure.
Not smoking, because that can really, if you're touring and smoking, that can really harm your vocal cords. You can feel, well, I mean, even if you don't sing, I don't know if you smoke, but people who smoke or have smoked know the feeling in the
Sure.
morning after you've been out with, your friends and you smoked a 20 pack or something. The next
Right.
day you feel like, your mouth feels like at the bottom of a bird cage. So, and it's difficult to sing in those circumstances over and over and over again,
Sure.
And I suppose that's, the heavy liquor, so Jack Daniels, I suppose, in your part of the world,
Yeah.
it's not great for your voice.
Right.
It might be great for your voice when you get drunk, and you can like sing, but I think if you drink it neat, on the rocks, it can burn your vocal cords, I think. So you have to be careful.
Sure. Have you ever, I've just never heard this, have you ever had vocal problems where you had to stop for a while or had to have polyps removed or anything like that?
No, I haven't. No, in the 80s, I got quite ill a couple of times with a couple of bad throat infections.
Right.
But luckily, no, I've not really had any really bad ones. Nothing to be operated on voice-wise.
Let's knock wood
Not
that
yet.
never happens.
Let's hope so. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, Biff, one of the things that you did with More Inspirations is something you've been doing a little bit recently, which is working with your son. And I have to imagine that's, in one sense, I work with my son in my other life. And I know in one sense, there's a great source of pride seeing your kid kind of taking up the, carrying it on more or less. And the other sense, it's frustrating as hell sometimes because it's like, no, that's not how I would do it. How is it for you working with your son?
It's pretty good, actually. He's he learns really quickly, and he's pretty good at he loves the analog gear, and he knows how to work the sort of the Pro Tools and the Logic. So it's pretty good. He's learned himself up to a level now, so we can work together, and he can engineer the albums with the vocals. I can do vocals with him, which is very hard to record vocals. I think you have to have the right equipment and know how to use it. So yeah, it's pretty good actually. And he knows me anyway. We know each other really well. So he knows when I'm faking it, when I'm not pushing it. So it's pretty good actually. I mean, when he's doing his demos for his band, I help him out and do things. But
Sure.
he can pretty much do it all himself now. He's pretty accomplished,
Right.
Engineer and producer, really.
Is it easy for you to take direction from him when he's like, no, not good enough, do it again?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, you have to put yourself in that position where, I work a lot one-on-one with engineers and producers, with
Okay.
Andy Sneap. I work one-on-one with him lots, and it's always, I mean, the vocals are always a sort of nearly 99% of one-on-one situation. So people get quite involved and quite close to what you're doing, So, I mean, Seb's a great singer anyway, in his own right. So, yeah, we work well together. It works really well. And, he likes it. He obviously, we pay him for that. So he likes that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, Biff, why don't we take a little break here? I'm gonna give everybody some Saxon. I figure we play a video from Carpe Diem, which was a great record if people missed it because of the stupid pandemic. But you put out this video for The Pilgrimage, which is just fun. So tell us a little bit about this, but to lead us into it.
Well, the song is about it's based around the word pilgrimage. I'm a big sort of, I like words basically, and so yeah, I just thought, well, pilgrimage. Many people think pilgrimage is like a medieval pilgrimage, going off to Mecca or going off to some church or going off to Jerusalem. But actually, pilgrimage, we've all been on pilgrimages. I'm sure you can go. People go to see Hendrix's grave or Jim Morrison's, and that's a pilgrimage as well. And I think people go to huge festivals, and that's a pilgrimage. I mean, there are many things, to go to a place that you're enlightened in is the word, the meaning behind the pilgrimage. So I just wrote a song. Basically, it's in 3 stages. It's the first one could be medieval, and then it moves through, music icons, which is obviously that part of it, and the sort of going to a show is in some ways a pilgrimage, and that's really what the song's about.
All right, well, let's check it out right now. This is the video for The Pilgrimage. It's Saxon right here on Chris Akin Presents. Right back here on Chris Akin Presents. That, of course, was the mighty Saxon with The Pilgrimage from Carpe Diem. Make sure you check that one out after you check out More Inspirations, which is the current release from Saxon. And Biff, let's dig into the record a little bit. First and foremost, I love the choice of the Faith Healer. Sensational Alex Harvey Band never gets enough love. It's almost a forgotten band here in the States. What's the backstory to choosing this? I mean, how big of an Alex Harvey Band fan are you, or were you?
Well, I used to go see them live all the time. Me and Paul, all the band did actually. They were great. They're a fantastic live band. Very, very, very theatrical, and each individual person had his own look. I mean, you can check them out on YouTube. We do have some old videos there. Live shows that, you've got the guitarist who dressed like a clown, and the sort of bass player dressed a little bit like a sort of, like a superhero type thing. So, yeah, I mean, Alex himself was more of a pirate-looking guy. So, I mean, the whole thing was very theatrical. And they used to start their show with the Faith Healer, and it's such a brilliant opening, I just love the whole song. And band, I was very influenced by him and the band.
Okay.
So yeah, it had to go on. It's my favorite Alex Harvey track, I think. There's another couple, one called Mix and one called Vambo. They're pretty cool, but I think Faith Healer is their signature song, really, for their fans.
Absolutely, it's a great tune, and you guys do a great job with it. And the other thing I wanted to ask you about, obviously now when you do any kind of a tribute thing in the metal world, it's almost a requirement to do a Dio fronted song, whether it's, Rainbow or Dio or even a Black Sabbath. It really has become almost a requirement. Now, I'm sure you knew Ronnie. I'm positive that you crossed paths many times. What influence did Ronnie James Dio have on you as a musician, as a vocalist, or even as a person?
Well, yeah, I mean, I did hear Dio. I mean, the first time I heard Ronnie was on an album called Butterfly Ball, I think. That I think Roger Glover had something to do with it. I think it was various singers, various musicians. So that's the first time I heard him sing. I thought then he got a great voice. I think, him and sort of Glenn Hughes were around at that time.
Right.
Doing their thing. Glenn was in Trapeze, I think. So, I was a big fan of Trapeze as well. In fact, we did try a Trapeze song for this album, actually. Come to think of it, but that's another story. And then I met him. We did a tour with Black Sabbath in America, with Black Sabbath and Blue Oyster called the Black and Blue Tour.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if that was the official. I mean, that's the official title, but it certainly was the Black and Blue Tour. But I met both bands, Blue Oyster Cult and Black Sabbath at that time. I met Renard, and then we became sort of, friends really. We'd meet in airports and check each other out and do a few shows together. So yeah, I was quite friendly with Ronnie. He was a nice guy. Just tell some great stories, a good joke teller.
Sure.
And such a fantastic voice. And we toured with Rainbow in the early, probably 1980, might have even been 79, but we were pretty big in UK at that time. And we did some huge shows with Rainbow. Ronnie wasn't singing, it was the other guy. Since you've been gone, that period.
Graham Bonnet.
Yeah, Graham Bonnet. Yeah. I think I only did a couple of things with them, and they kicked us off the tour, which is pretty great for us because we got tons of press. And people said, "Oh, you're going down too well." I was like, "Yeah, we probably were, yeah." So it was do a song from Rainbow and do a song that Ronnie did in Rainbow,
right.
sort of covered two things. I mean, we love Rainbow. It's just that Richie didn't want us on the tour anymore. So
I believe Richie. I can't.
He didn't even ask us to leave it. We turned up at Wembley and we just weren't allowed in.
Wow.
Yeah, well, there you go.
That's funny. Well, Biff, obviously, man, the big news out of the Saxon camp recently has been Paul Quinn's decision to stop touring. And I've been following it. I saw that he's still going to be involved, when you write and stuff, and that you're talking about bringing in somebody that people are going to know as a guitar player. And I won't ask you about that. What I am curious about is, does Paul leaving basically mean that we won't get another full US run until you do a new record, because you got to kind of work your way in with the new guy?
Well, Paul hasn't. The thing is, Paul's been thinking about doing this for quite some time, actually. So it's not really a surprise for the band and the Saxon camp.
Okay.
Because he's been thinking about stepping back from touring for quite some time, and he always sort of changed his mind and did the tours. So. We have talked about it with Paul, so it wasn't as big a surprise as probably people think it is. When he did it, obviously, was a bit of a surprise, but
sure.
We have talked about it. So we have talked to other people before about maybe stepping in and doing shows and taking Paul's place. So it's not so much of a big deal for the organizational thing. It's just we're really sad that obviously he's not going to be touring with us anymore. It's quite sad. So
sure,
we'll be moving on. If we get offered a tour of America before this year, then we'll ask Paul if he wants to do it. If he doesn't want to do it, and somebody else will do it. So that's how it will work.
Right.
I mean, we could. I'm not going to tell you who. So there's no.
No. I'm not asking.
But we might tell you tomorrow. I mean, we might put a press release tomorrow. We might put a press release out in July. I don't know. I mean, there's no we're not actually doing any shows until July officially. So,
Okay.
you know, we've got plenty of time, you know, with it. Obviously, there's lots and lots of guitarists been in touch with us. Some of them we're friends with, and some of them we're not. So we'll make a decision later. I think it's important. I mean, there are lots of younger guitarists that are obviously capable of doing the gig.
Sure.
But we want somebody that's, you know, known, I think. But that doesn't mean to say that's going to happen. You know, we might change our mind. I don't know. But at the moment, I'm just thinking somebody that's known, you know, to the fans. So I don't think at this point in time, somebody will join permanently.
Okay.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Somebody will stand in the Paul's position until at such time we decide, really.
Sure. Is it going to be weird for you? Just because, I mean, there's been member changes, obviously, in Saxon, but you and Paul have been the guys. I mean, you guys have been I think from day one, it's been you and him, right?
Yeah, definitely has. And, you know, Nigel came along in sort of 80, I think Nigel came along, 1981. So, yeah, definitely. It's going to be strange, you know, but it's like everything. You know, things move on, you know, that's how it goes, you know. I mean, I'm sure it must have been strange for Rob to look over and not see KK.
Sure.
You know, or you know, some of the guys in Maiden to look over and not see Bruce when he left. So, you know, the band just moves on, you know. It's you know, it's just, I think who you put in, people have to be kosher with that. Not just the band, but the fans as well, you know.
Right on.
But the thing is with Paul, he's irreplaceable. He's a fantastic guitarist. There is no doubt about it. You know, and you know, is very, very, very underrated. Really underrated. But you know, probably now is leaving people listen to him a bit more.
There you go. Well, while they're listening, they should definitely listen to the new release, which is called More Inspirations. It is out now, I believe. I think it came out today, actually. So
it's out today. It is out today. Yeah.
Yeah. So people definitely
everything comes out on a Friday. Yeah.
That's right. So everybody should be streaming it today while they order it wherever. Where should they go to order it, Biff? Do you know?
Well, you can go onto our Facebook site, you know, Saxon. You can go onto our website. It's all over the place. You just put in Saxon. Just put in Saxon. Put in Saxon More Inspirations. It'll come up. You can stream it on all the formats. You can get the vinyl. You can buy the CD. You can do anything you want. Really, it's all there.
Excellent. Well, let's encourage them to buy it, not stream it. That way, you guys at least make something. So.
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, I'll show you. I've got one here. Actually, I was listening to it yesterday. Look, that's it. That's one of the sleeves.
There you go.
That's the old one. This is the new one. So yeah, good.
There we go. Perfect.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, Biff, one more time, the album More Inspirations. It is out now. Go and get it. And Biff, thanks so much for joining me here on CHRIS Akin Presents.
Yeah, brilliant. Anytime, mate. It's always good to talk to over the water, and hopefully we'll get some dates together. That would be great.
Well, I look forward to seeing you once again here in Cleveland, my friend.